From Las Vegas, it's Dry Heat with Mike Davis.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited. Welcome here in the den here at FOX5 Studios for Dry Heat with Mike Davis. I am joined right now by this dude. It's not even a triple threat. You gotta say quadruple threat. We gotta come up with all different things, from acting to music to karate. I think this guy even won like a state kickboxing tournament when he was like a youngster. And of course, he's a maven when it comes to the cheesesteak. He's from my hometown. He's a legend when it comes to Philadelphia. And now you can catch and get all this great goodness. You see this goodness right here? This cheesesteak right here? You can get that baby here at the Rio, Las Vegas. It's Tony Luke Jr. Tony Luke Jr., it's great to see you again, my man.
Mike, I am so excited that I got on a plane, which I hate to fly, for 5.5 hours, knowing I was going to see you.
We had a lot of fun last time.
We had a great time.
It was two Italians and a Jew in a kitchen making cheesesteaks, and it's Tony Luke Jr. and Stevie Van Zandt from Bruce Springsteen and The Sopranos. That was a great day.
Well, it was a good day because I saw Stevie on camera. He was live, and I remember telling the person I was with, I said, "Can you tell Stevie I'm here?" And I remember him saying, "Look, if you want to meet Stevie, then you can wait." I'm like, "No, I wouldn't ask you to tell someone I'm here if I didn't know them." They're like, "Well, we'll get a message back to them." And then you guys walked in on this segment, which was amazing.
Well, I was interviewing him. He was doing a great thing in the community with kids and musical education. And then he's like, "Let's go crash Tony's segment." So we went into the kitchen here at Fox 5 and we did a whole great thing celebrating National Cheesesteak Day, which we're doing right now. I mean, listen, I'm just going to tell everybody at home. Growing up, Cherry Hill, Philadelphia area, this was my cheesesteak. My dad would take me to South Philly right off the expressway. We'd be going to games. We'd be going to Delaware County, Delco, to go see my grandmother. And we'd always stop for Tony Luke's if I was being a good child and doing something right. Tell me this, before we get into all the great stuff, as our beloved Eagles won the Super Bowl, I'm pretty sure there was a viral video. Didn't they go to Tony Luke's, all the coaches before the season, like Vic Fangio, Nick Sirianni, Kellen Moore, I think they went to Tony Luke's to celebrate, and get to know each other prior to the season starting.
I think that might have been true. I just know that anytime the Eagles get into the playoffs, my movie resurfaces.
The one with Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, and I know that I'm going to be the meme of the whole playoff things. So, I sit there because I'm a big guy now. I'm 290. But when I did Invincible, I was 400 pounds.
Were you?
I was 400 pounds. So to see that image of me in the green cape and the green outfit always kind of makes me cringe. But it's like, it's the thing. It's like...
Well, you were like the wacky, crazy fan in Invincible, the story of Vince Papale, a great hero of Philadelphia and a legend for the Philadelphia Eagles. Mark Wahlberg played him. But let's talk about you. As I alluded to earlier in the show, you just do so many things, right? I was listening prior to the interview. You got a new song out called City Walk.
City Walk, yeah.
It's like a smooth jazz kind of record. You're playing piano, but you just told me you wrote the sax parts.
Well, I wrote the lines for the sax, and then the key line, and then Justin Bandelon wrote the melody for the guitar, but the chords are all mine, and Justin played drums on that as well. But when I wrote City Walk, I wanted to let people feel what it's like to walk through a city at night, going through different streets and neighborhoods. So if you listen to this song, it kind of starts off like a little foreboding. It's like, like little, like you're a little sketchy.
Yeah.
But then it starts getting into different areas, and there's music, and then it kind of builds. And Ben Stocker played sax on that, and I gave him free will at the end, do what you want to do.
It's very reminiscent of walking through like a street in Philly, and you're on Sansom, you go to like maybe a crappier part of,
and then the jazz part,
right? Yeah.
And what's funny is I wrote a lot of sad music, so I write a lot of music to try to touch people's soul. So people would listen to it, they'd be like, "Man, every time I need to go cry, I listen to some of your music." So one day I have a studio in my home, a little recording studio, and I'm like, I want to write something that I want to listen to.
Yeah.
So I wrote a song called Smooth Groove.
Okay.
And I'm like, you know what I don't hear anymore? I don't hear trumpet. Like, I'm going to write a song for a trumpet.
Right.
So I write the song, lay the bass line, chords, I lay everything out. And now I play trumpet on the keyboard and I'm riffing the lines and I'm just going. So now I send it to a friend of mine who's a trumpet player. And I go, listen, he told me the greatest line ever. That's why I have to share it. So I go, I'm going to send you the song. I need you to put real trumpet on the song. I said, but I need you to play it note for note the way I wrote it. And I'll never forget. He said to me, he goes, Tony, you know fingers don't breathe, right? And then for a minute, I'm like, I don't understand. I'm like, oh, I get it. He thinks I'm doing like, and he has to take a breath.
Right. It can't replicate it exactly.
He's like, but then when I sent it to him, he's like, oh, no, you breathe. Like, I can breathe in between. So we can. And then when I went to release it, a friend of mine who, is a 9-time Grammy winner, Joe Nicolo, he did the re-education of Lauryn Hill.
Oh, my God.
He did Billy Joel's River of Dreams. He worked with Bob
the
Dylan.
best.
He worked,
Okay, I don't know.
So I give him the track, and he's like my partner in the music, and I give him the track, and he literally says to me, what do you want me to do with this? And I'm like, well, we're going to release it. He's like, you won't get on one play. Like, this is not, like, no playlist will touch this. And I'm like, yeah, I know. I don't write music to get on a, like, I write what I feel. It's like, if one person hears it, then they love, and he goes, I'll release it, but, don't get your, and I remember about 3 days went by, I'm like, I think we got 5,000 streams in one day. And then I looked and we were on like 60 playlists, then 300 playlists, then 1,900 playlists, then 2,900 playlists. And then he came back to me, he's like, write another song like that. Write more music like that.
Right.
And then I wrote Transcendental Groove.
So there's a need for a lot of that kind of smooth jazz kind of stuff.
Well, it's kind of, I don't want to say, please forgive me who's listening. I do not mean this in a derogatory way. I'm just speaking as a musician. I feel like there's a need for real instrument music.
Yeah, music.
Like
stuff.
that. And I'm not saying that the stuff that's out now is not music. It is absolutely music. But I mean, to go back to real guitar players playing, and drummers playing, and saxophone players and trumpets,
100%,
and just that real feel of.
But and it doesn't even have to be overproduced because I was watching you do Forever in a Day, like this.
That's an
acoustic unplugged, which I love the Jim Croce stuff. Like I love very unplugged kind of stuff, and it's just, it's so simple. You're like in a bar basically, and it's you just singing with a microphone and a dude playing acoustic guitar, and it sounds so lovely.
Now, actually, that dude playing guitar is a gentleman named Trevor Gordon Hall.
Yeah,
Trevor Gordon Hall is rated in the top 30 greatest acoustic guitar players in the world.
Wow.
And he was like, I love this song.
How do you even get that? How do you even get that acknowledgement? That sounds amazing.
And he's playing.
Yeah, he's really talented.
He's phenomenal.
But, and then there's other stuff. You're, Forever, One More Night was this song I was watching you play piano. So listen, there's so much to your story. I want to backtrack a little bit to the cheesesteak stuff then, because we got to talk a little bit about, how you honor the memory of your son, all the beautiful stuff you do for addiction work. And, but you're so multifaceted, from movies to music, all this stuff. But 1992 was great for two reasons, right? Mike Davis was born.
That was the greatest reason.
He was born at Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia. It was, I think it might have been a snowy day. It was February 8th, I think.
Oh, yeah, well, probably.
It probably was. But more importantly than me and my birth, and shout out to Lynn and Stephen Davis, Tony Luke's started. This is when
February 3rd, 1992.
So it's basically 33 years ago. Tony Luke starts. You start with your dad and your brother. But here's the fascinating thing, and I don't even think I even asked you this and how long I know you. Cheesesteaks were not really an integral part of the menu, actually.
It wasn't on the menu.
That's crazy.
It was not on the menu.
How is that possible?
The original menu was roast beef, roast pork, chicken cutlets, Italian sandwiches. Then people would come to the window. Now, remember, we were out of the way. Like, there was no business where we were.
Right.
People thought that we were crazy opening up out of the way of everything.
Right.
But we believe that if the food was good, people would come.
And this is that South Philly, off the Expressway
Right, it was on
location.
Oregon Avenue, yeah. When we opened, people would come and go, no cheesesteak, no cheesesteak, no cheesesteak. And I thought, you know, my father was like, look, if we're going to do this, then we have to do it the best. And the best, again, the best that we can do. You'll never hear me say, even when we were at our peak, that we were the best cheesesteak. I never respected anyone that said, I make the best cheesesteak. I think it's arrogant. I think that it's you know, everyone's taste buds are different. What you love, she may not like, or he may not like.
Right.
So you can say, I make the best cheesesteak that I can make, like I do the best that I can do. But every time you say, I'm the best at something, I think that that's just...
And you know what, if I can play psychiatrist for a second, I think the reason why that's your approach, and that's not every chef, that's not every person, you're unique in that, but I think you're a true artist at heart.
More Dry Heat after the break. You're watching Dry Heat with Mike Davis.
There was a coolness associated with if you're Team Tony Luke. Like, even before I met you, that's why I was so giddy when I first met you. I was like, it meant so much to me, and still means a lot, but I just, like, the first time, it was just like, because I just remember there was a pridefulness that I always remember that was associated just with people who said, like, Tony Luke is where I want my cheesesteak. There was something about that. And then it went into the ballpark, you know, and
then it just started,
you know, and it just kept growing.
But I think that came from my father. You know, he always instilled in us that if you wouldn't eat it, don't sell it.
Right.
You know, and that you have to, the one thing he really taught me was they don't have to come to your window and order a cheesesteak. They can order it anywhere in the city. So when they walk up and they order a cheesesteak, you need to be unbelievably grateful and appreciative that they're in that line. Even when we were at our peak, where the line was, you know, 3 blocks long, if someone had a complaint, I was on it. Like, it wasn't like, you got a complaint, go somewhere.
No, you guys had a different approach to service than Gino's and Pat's, definitely.
Well, I mean, look.
I think so, definitely. Because you know how people always...
It's an apple and orange.
But you know, people always do the whole shtick with, oh, you have to order it this way and that thing and blah, blah, blah.
But it worked back then. We were the first ever to take someone's name because we wanted to get to know someone personally. And it was, I think it was the perfect storm for us. Because you had my dad, who was an unbelievable hard worker. He was a great cook. He taught me how to cook. My brother was a phenomenal he worked. And he got into
Nicholas?
Nick, and he worked, and he did it. And then you had me, who wasn't the guy on the grill, but I'm the guy that's out there at radio stations and TV stations and marketing and promoting, because you can have the greatest product in the world, but if no one knows it's there, it doesn't matter.
And here's what's crazy is now... Like, why Vegas? Because Vetri brought a lot of his stuff here, too. Mark Vetri's a great guy. His partner, Jeff Benjamin. They have Fiorella here. They have Kachina here. They have Osteria. Now even Solomonov is bringing Federal Donuts. You know, so Philly and Vegas are starting to sync up. But why does, like, Tony Luke's, you're so prideful about the ingredients coming from your dad, something that you would eat. How do you keep the food great here in Vegas when you're in Philly? And how do you... You know, it's a great way to expand, but tell us about the nature of that and how you made sure, like, listen, if we're expanding to the Rio Las Vegas, we got to make sure it really is the taste of South Philly in Las Vegas.
Well, here's the problem we run into, and I give Rio a lot of credit, but all of the credit goes to John Moser from MBB Management and David Wax. I mean, John, you know, runs this company, and he loves the company, and David, you know David. David loves the brand. The problem is, look, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't pull punches. I'm not here. I'm not here 24/7.
Right.
Will things slip through the cracks? Sometimes they do. You know, it's like we just had this conversation 2 minutes ago with the guy that's running the Rio food court, and I was like, it's imperative to me that there needs to be not a general manager. There needs to be one specific manager just for the Tony Luke stand, because Tony Luke's was not built just on the quality of the sandwich. It was built on the idea of customer service. It was built on the idea that the manager's eyes, if you see me in a store, this is literally what I look like. I'm going to look at the camera. Here's me in the store. Watch.
Right.
Those onions got to come off.
Right.
That steak's got to go like, wrap it up. Yeah, get it out. It's on too long. Yeah, flip the cheese. Get it right. Like, you need that level of, you need a manager and if a guy's like, yo, dude, I've been here, 30 minutes.
Right.
You guys
it's
are behind.
detail oriented.
I'm so sorry. You know what? You want a soda? You know what? Make another sandwich. Give it to him with his sandwich. I'm not going to. It's that detail that we have seen for some reason. We've seemed to have lost that.
Dry Heat with Mike Davis will be right back.
Let's talk about this because you have, beyond just being a great guy, you have such a beautiful heart because you give a lot of your time and energy, not only expression through music, but to, addiction and that journey. And this month, I know it's a hard month for you, you were telling me. Tell us a little bit about your son and the way that you're really giving back through a lot of pain.
Well, my son died March 27th, 2017 of an overdose. And I understood what he was going through, which I'm glad he didn't have to die for me to understand it. But I've always been fighting the stigma that it's a choice, and it's really not. People are numbing themselves because a lot of that has to do with trauma and mental health issues. A lot of trauma that these people go through, and instead of going through it, which is very difficult, they kind of numb around it, and every family is affected by it. So I tried to fight this stigma of, don't be ashamed if your loved one is suffering or they've passed away. That's someone's daughter or son or husband, wife, partner, whatever. Like that, these are human beings that are struggling, that need help. So I made it my mission through the music, because what kept me alive was music. It kept me from ending my life, because when you lose a child, there's no possible, you can't describe it. It never goes away. It never gets any better. You manage it better. You have maybe, more good days than you do bad days, but you absolutely have bad days. There's times something will hit me and I'll just break down and I'll start crying. But, you have to let people understand that we're all human and we're all struggling with one kind of addiction or another. We're all addicted to something.
Yeah.
Mine is food. I don't drink. I don't use drugs. When my son died, I put 135 pounds on, and I've been struggling to take it off for 8 years. So my go-to is carbs. So what I try to do is I use music as therapy, because you may not want to speak to me. You may be struggling with something, some kind of trauma that you're just embarrassed or you feel you don't want to share it. But if I get you to draw something, or if I get you to write a poem, or you do a rap, or you write a piece of music, I don't know why, but you have the ability to separate yourself from that. And it's like, this is what I'm going through, but that's not really me. It is you, but you're able to put it on paper or in a song, because you feel like I'm not exposing myself, but you are. Like, you can get more out of a drawing from someone and know how they feel.
It's healing.
Yeah, and then I did the whole course. I'm a certified grief specialist. I'm a certified recovery specialist. I do the all recovery meetings. I do the music therapy, which really helps. We do art therapy and clay and then making stuff. And it's just a way to let people know that they are not alone. The other thing I've been fighting, and I know we're short on time, but I want to get this in.
Yeah.
I'm going to get a lot of backlash from the recovery community. I don't care. Okay. I am never a fan of someone that goes, well, I was 9 years in recovery.
Oh.
I slipped 3 months ago, so I have 3 months in recovery. You do not have 3 months of recovery. You've got over 9 years of recovery. I don't like the idea of making someone think that everything they did for 9 years has no value now because you slipped, okay? You slipped.
Right.
And now you have to feel like I'm at 1 again, because there's another psychological thing that's going on there going, well, I wasted 9 years. You know what? I don't care now. I'm back. But if you tell people, no, you got 9 years, you slipped, it's okay.
More Dry Heat after the break.
Listen, you got to go to Rio, Las Vegas. Check out Tony Luke's. It's the place to get a cheesesteak here in Las Vegas, 100%. And if you go back home, where I'm from, where Tony's from, you got to go check out Tony Luke's as well in South Philly. Real quickly, for people at home, where can they go for the addiction and just all that kind of stuff?
So we have a foundation called soundmindnetwork.org.
Okay.
We put on concerts. We work with the Bacon Brothers and other artists. And then we put on concerts. And Joe DiGiacomo, who is actually in the studio today, is one of the founding members of this with Joe Nicolo.
Okay.
And we raise money to support this all recovery meeting, to support the music therapy. So we use music to raise money. That's why I'm going to do a shameless plug, but I'll explain why. But if you're on Spotify, please go to Tony Luke Jr., follow the music, because I don't take any of that money. You don't make any money on Spotify to begin with.
Yeah.
But whatever little money I make, and as we build the audience, that money doesn't go in my pocket. That money goes to help families that need therapy, that need music therapy. So
listen to all that stuff, and it's Apple Music too. For all you
it's
Apple,
on every streaming.
It's everywhere. I'm an Apple Music guy. The new song City Walk, you got to listen to that. I'm Forever in a Day. That's my thing. Go check that out on YouTube as well. That's on all the streaming services as well. The great Tony Luke Jr. This is Dry Heat with Mike Davis. We'll see you next time here in the Den at FOX5 Studios. Great seeing you, my man. I'm going to dive into this cheesesteak now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you next time here on Dry Heat. Thank you so much for watching Dry Heat with Mike Davis. Go to our YouTube page, Silver State Sports, to hear our complete interviews.